And we are in for Tracy and for Sean. Now, the impact from the coronavirus continues to be felt all around the world, and the country and the state. And there are big signs of its effect on the economy as well. Here are the latest numbers. The coronavirus toll continue to climb here in Georgia. As of this hour, there are more than 1,500 cases, 48 deaths. More than 1,000 people have died in the U.S., and there are more than 75,000 confirmed cases. By far, New York State hit the hardest. Tomorrow, the House is expected to pass the $2 trillion stimulus bill. Senate passage of the bill pushed the Dow on a gain of more than 1,300 points today.
And shocking proof today of just how many people are losing their jobs as businesses are forced to temporarily close because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Department of Labor reporting that 3.28 million people filed initial unemployment claims last week. In Georgia, there were more than 12,000 unemployment benefit requests last week alone, more than double from the previous week. And here in the metro, we found hundreds of employees who tell us they have not been paid. Their bosses say the company is out of money, and it's all happening in the middle of this coronavirus crisis. Haley Mason talking to several of those very frustrated employees.
CBS46 was outside of Metrotainment Bakery last week when employees showed up hoping to be paid overdue paychecks from the restaurant group Metrotainment Cafe. The checks were overdue from February. Managers received this email from company owners Jeff and Amy Landau informing them the company has had hard times this season and has lost more than 90% of business because of the coronavirus shutdown. They explained the paychecks will be late. Metrotainment Cafes operates all local Hudson Grill restaurants, Joe's on Juniper, Einstein's, Metrotainment Bakery, and Sugar Shack. They have more than 400 employees. Today, we met with another restaurant employee who didn't want to be identified and hopes that she will still have a job. She says she finally got a paycheck this week, but it wasn't even half of what she's owed.
I have kids to feed. And this virus is going around, so how are we supposed to take care of our kids? They said that they didn't have the funds.
I called multiple company employees who reached out to us and emailed the company management. One of the owners, Jeff Landau, called me back and said over the phone, quote, "I've had the best of intentions. We've done our best. I understand the anger. They're scared. I'm scared. We're all scared right now as to what's happening, but we've really done everything we can." Landau tells me they've paid all minimum wage workers like bartenders and servers their full checks. That's about half of their full staff. The rest of the staff received about 40% of their salaries.
We did receive a partial payment, a check, and it was about 30%. It wasn't even partial because they said 50%, so it was about 30% of our pay. We don't know when we're going to get the rest of our payments.
The owners of Metrotainment Cafe tell me that their bank accounts are completely empty right now. They say they will pay the employees in full when they can. They have filed for unemployment benefits through the state for all of their staff, and they're also applying for loans. Next hour, we'll update you on how you can find a job in Georgia if you need one. Reporting in Atlanta, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Haley. And today, the Lowe's Hotel in Midtown Atlanta closing due to the coronavirus. We did some digging around and learned Hilton hotels making adjustments to cancellations policies, but still open right now. Also, the Omni Hotel and several other local hotels are in business at this time. Now, when is the last time you put your business clothes on? With everyone staying home, there's no need to really go to the dry cleaners right now. Well, tonight, Better Call Harry is advocating for an industry that is taking an enormous hit.
Plaza Cleaners sits at the intersection of Holcomb Bridge Road in Old Alabama and Roswell. The owner, Jason Jang, has nothing to do. The machines are off, the hangar's bare, and the place is empty.
So you're down like 90% on business?
90%, yeah.
What do you do?
I don't know. I don't know.
Social distancing isn't the issue. With everyone working from home, everyone has switched to casual clothes. Jang had one customer this morning. His 4 employees are at home, but he's here hoping for that stimulus bill. Right now, Congress is taking Jang to the cleaners.
How frustrating is this for you?
The sigh sums it up. Jang has 2 stores, Plaza Cleaners and Ivy Cleaners, 3 miles down Holcomb Bridge, where the Kroger is packed. But the only employee here, Jang's wife, Cindy.
I have a big problem. I cannot sleep.
She's worried. The rent is due for both locations, thousands of dollars they need now.
What's the landlord saying? Have you asked for a delay?
Yes, I'm already sent the email, but they didn't not answer.
Cindy thinks they can make it maybe another 2 months.
My first customer today.
Got one customer who stopped by for pickup.
It's always nice to see you.
Jangs are hoping discounts for things like comforters and winter clothes will motivate customers to come back. Anything to keep the racks moving.
Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
No, nothing. It's the first time in my life. It's too hard time.
Now is the time to check in with your dry cleaner because many may be offering discounts for things like comforters, winter clothes. Now's a good time to take those in. And don't forget that dry cleaners also do laundry. You got laundry, they'll wash it, they'll fold it, anything to keep them in business. I'm Better Call Harry, CBS 46 News.
So many people impacted. Harry, thank you. Meantime, flags are flying at half-staff today in Sandy Springs. This to honor 63-year-old Coach Ron Hill, who lost his battle with the coronavirus. Coach Hill, loved by so many people in the Mount Vernon community. Hill became sick on March 12th, and days later, he was admitted to the hospital and then put in isolation. He was diagnosed with pneumonia before learning he had contracted the virus. Right now, an online memorial wall is up with loving messages from the students, the staff, and really the entire community. Meantime, states around the country are dealing with COVID-19 testing backlogs, and a Sandy Springs mother of a 14-year-old was told she would get the results in 2 to 4 days, but it's been a week and still no results. CBS 46's Ayanna Crystal has her story.
This has been scary and frustrating for this mother, not knowing if her son, who's been sick for 18 days, has coronavirus. Her doctor was reluctant to test him, but they did, and now they've been waiting for the results for a week.
How do you not have a result after a week when you say it's going to be 2 to 4 days?
This Sandy Springs mother of 3 teenagers has been quarantined in her home since March 9th. When her son Jordy wasn't getting better, they first went to the doctor on March 13th.
Jordy's cough got really bad and his fever went up a little bit more. Waited till the following week. The doctor said still stay home, do the normal allergy medicine.
But when the 14-year-old symptoms got worse 6 days later, with a temp over 100 degrees, a bad cough and shortness in breath, they went back to the doctor where they told Jordy he had pneumonia.
You have to test him. I have a house full of, 2 other kids and myself and my husband, and we have to know. She said, well, we're low on test kits, but we're going to go ahead and do it.
They had a certain guidelines to follow. They only had so many tests, but because of the circumstances.
They were told they would have the results in 2 to 4 days, but it has now been a nerve-wracking week.
Is he going to just stop breathing and I have to call 911 and he's going to get to a hospital and then it's too late?
Really scary. Do I have it or do I don't? Because then we can prepare for steps to move forward.
Today is the first day Jordy is feeling better, still has a cough and fever. But for the first time in more than 2 weeks, he can get out of bed.
It's very relieving.
It's the fear of the unknown, and there is no data to show what this is doing to kids now or long term.
With so much unknown about the novel COVID-19, Stacy wants everyone to take this seriously.
Parents have to take note and realize this is a serious situation and is impacting absolutely everybody, no matter your race, your color, your age, your demographic, anything. It is not something that you're immune to, and don't think that it can't happen to you.
States around the country are currently dealing with testing backlogs. I did reach out to the lab that is processing Jordy's test to find out how long the COVID-19 tests are taking to be processed so people can get results. I have not heard back. Health officials are warning while you're waiting for results, make sure to stay quarantined. In Atlanta, Ayanna Crystal, CBS 46 News.
Oh, and it's a beautiful day outside. We're going to show you a live picture over Stone Mountain, the top of Stone Mountain here, and we have a few high, thin cirrus clouds. Those are fair weather clouds, and I talked all about the clouds on today's World of Weather, so if you missed it, go on CBS46.com and show it to your kids. We learned about clouds, what makes clouds, and what kind of clouds there are. Right now, we have those fair weather clouds and we have beautiful weather. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Right now in Atlanta and Rome, it's almost 80 degrees, 77 in Marietta, 75 in Lawrenceville. Tonight, not as chilly as it was last night. We're dropping down to 61, and it is going to stay dry, not only tonight, but for a while as we head through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, no rain. It's not until Sunday that we see rain move back in the forecast. Because of that, we're going to see extreme levels of pollen. Without rain to wash it all away, you will be sniffling. Also, I'm tracking record-breaking heat tomorrow. I'm forecasting record-breaking temperatures and some rain moving in this weekend. I'll pinpoint when the rain will arrive. I'll let you know how hot it's going to get in Atlanta's most accurate forecast coming up.
All right, Jen, we'll see you then. Right now, the impact of the coronavirus continues for our students today. The governor announcing he's closing public and elementary, secondary schools as well. So public elementary and secondary schools through April 24th. Governor Kemp issuing the executive order to extend the closures for at least 4 more weeks. He noted that as they approach the new deadline, he and his team will ask for everyone's continued patience and flexibility as they evaluate the latest data and information. Meantime, the University System of Georgia and Technical College System of Georgia will remain closed for in-person classes for the rest of the semester. Karen?
Well, the medical sterilization plant in Cobb County, blamed for emitting cancer-causing gas into their air for decades, could reopen as early as today. Cobb County signing an emergency order last night allowing Sterigenics to temporarily sterilize items needed to combat coronavirus. Our Carolyn Ryan has the very latest.
It all started with a letter from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on March 19th, the FDA asking Governor Kemp to reopen Sterigenics so the plant could sterilize much-needed personal protection items like masks, gowns, gloves, and respirators to fight coronavirus.
I know that the Secretary Azar needs that plant open. There's a lot of medical supplies that they need to move to the marketplace. And as he told me, this is a national public health emergency. We need that plant open.
Cobb County agrees, signing off on an emergency order allowing the plant to temporarily reopen for the sole purpose of sterilizing the items cited by the FDA. But with dozens of medical sterilization companies across the nation, why is the FDA zoning in on Sterigenics specifically? This location has been shut down since last summer because of discrepancies over its occupancy status. State Representative Eric Allen has concerns
that the Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration is not looking at Smyrna, Georgia that closely to say that this is the panacea to solving our crisis with the coronavirus.
Residents who live near the plant are already worried about COVID-19. Now they say they'll have to worry about breathing ethylene oxide, too.
It causes cancer in people and kills people. Now, it's not as quick as the coronavirus is, but it just doesn't make sense to trade one for another.
And already it appears Sterigenics is pushing back against Cobb County's conditions on reopening. In a statement, the company argues they should be allowed to sterilize many of the same medical devices they did prior to coronavirus. The full statement is posted on our website. Carolyn Ryan, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, we want to know what you'd like to ask Governor Kemp and his staff about the coronavirus. The governor's statewide town hall airs tonight right here at 8 on CBS 46. Send us your questions on our free CBS 46 Facebook page.
Well, ahead here at 5, former President Jimmy Carter is speaking out about the coronavirus pandemic, what he says you can do to help next.
This pandemic causing an inhaler shortage, how all of this is affecting those with asthma.
Many homeowners and businesses are focused on cleaning to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Coming up, I'll tell you what you need to know before you spend thousands of dollars unnecessarily. I'm Adam Murphy. The story just ahead.
Welcome back. Former President Jimmy Carter is weighing in on the coronavirus pandemic. In a letter to supporters of the Carter Center, he's asking that they forego their next gift and give to organizations that are helping the fight against the coronavirus instead. The letter also signed by his wife, Rosalind.
Now to another consequence of the coronavirus pandemic. Critical inhalers are now in short supply as the virus continues to spread. CBS 46's Ashley Thompson has what people with asthma need to know to keep safe.
People with asthma are considered high risk if they contract the novel coronavirus. An inhaler can be a matter of life or death for them. Hospitals already low on coronavirus fighting equipment are turning to albuterol inhalers to treat sick patients.
Because, we know coronavirus does attack the lungs. Actually, a lot of hospitals are now needing more of these inhalers. So some demand has increased.
A dwindling supply is especially concerning for asthmatics who rely on the inhalers and are at a higher risk of getting very sick if they contract the coronavirus.
So what a medicine like albuterol does is if something triggers their asthma and their airways are getting small like a straw, the albuterol actually helps open it up, so that they can breathe better. So,
Dr. Purvi Parikh, an allergist and immunologist, is working to slow the demand.
Unfortunately, some of these insurance companies are manipulating their ability to now fill 90-day prescriptions. So normally where a patient would get one inhaler for 90 days, they're sending the patient 3.
According to the Allergy and Asthma Network, if you're unable to get your albuterol inhaler, you should call your doctor and ask about other inhaler options. Search for other pharmacies that may be able to fill your request. Check your inhalers to see if there is still medicine in them. If necessary, you may be able to use expired inhalers. Avoid asthma triggers to prevent flare-ups, and remember not to overuse albuterol inhalers. Humidifiers can be used for symptomatic relief if they are clean, but they should never replace daily or emergency medication.
You don't need 90 days worth of albuterol, which is the emergency medicine. What you do need is to be on your controller medicine.
According to the Allergy and Asthma Network, manufacturers are releasing reserve supplies and expediting delivery. People with asthma need to be especially careful right now. We've got all of these tips on the CBS 46 News app and our website. In Atlanta, Ashley Thompson, CBS 46 News.
Important advice, Ashley. Thank you. Now at 5, to serve and protect also means to deliver prescriptions during this health crisis. Floyd County deputies have worked out a deal with pharmacists to drop off medicine to people who are 65 and over or disabled. Deputies wear masks and gloves while leaving prescriptions on doorsteps. Recipients sign receiving paperwork, which the deputies return to the pharmacies.
Now, CBS 46 Pinpoint Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Oh, it's gorgeous outside. Temperatures near 80 degrees, lots of sunshine out there. And really, that's what we're seeing across the entire southeastern United States. High pressure dominating our weather. That will continue to be the case. And that means a string of beautiful days. Right now, all the clouds we had holding on to northeastern Georgia have really whittled away. And we've got lots of sunshine out there. And we have no rain. And it will stay that way. No rain today, tomorrow, or Saturday. It's not until Sunday that we have a chance of rain. And even then, I think a lot of us are going to stay dry through the whole weekend. Temperatures already climbing. 82 in LaGrange, 79 in Atlanta and Locust Grove, and it will stay mild this evening. We'll see clear skies. Normally you see those temperatures dip down pretty quickly with clear skies, but we're not going to see as much of a dip as we did last night. Last night we got down to 52 degrees. Tonight we're only getting down to 61 degrees, so about 10 degrees warmer for tonight, but all in all a beautiful night and an even better tomorrow, as long as you don't mind the heat. If you wanted a little summer preview, here you go. How about 87 tomorrow afternoon? That is 20 degrees above average for this time of year, and that is record breaking. The record for tomorrow is 86 back in 1994. Could break another record on Saturday as we get up to 83. We do see improvement behind that next system. It's a cold front that will bring us some rain on Sunday, but we'll still stay above average. It's not until the middle of next week that temperatures are below average. So even on Saturday, we're still in those mid 80s. Average high this time of year is 68. We're near 90 It's crazy. This is that first little front, very weak. Gonna squeeze out a few showers on Sunday. It won't arrive until Sunday morning into the afternoon, but a lot of that rain really fizzles as it makes its way through the state. So I'm not expecting much rain, maybe a 1/10 of an inch of rain, if that. So it's not going to be a big rain producer on Sunday. The one on Tuesday, that one's certainly a little more potent. I think we will see some thunderstorms with that one. Certainly some heavy rain. Some models even showing more than an inch to up to 2 inches of rain with that one. So the one Tuesday is the one we'll be watching for heavy rain. Until then, just a few sprinkles on Sunday and lots of heat. I think those air conditioners are going to be cranking. If they weren't today, they are tomorrow as we get up to 87 degrees tomorrow afternoon. That is record breaking. On top of that, those pollen levels will be extreme tomorrow as well. So you need allergy medicine and shorts if you're going outside.
Oh, sounds like you should take your lessons outside tomorrow, too. CBS 46 giving you more ways to keep your children busy while they're out of school. Our chief meteorologist, you just saw there, Jennifer Valdez, bringing the world of weather right straight to them. Tomorrow, Jennifer's going to talk about hurricanes. Why is hurricane season June 1st to November 30th? So join her live on our CBS 46 Facebook page and on our free streaming app at 1:15 each weekday afternoon for daily weather lessons. Well, Georgia will mail absentee ballots for the primary to all the state's voters due to the coronavirus pandemic, but you can still vote in person, or can't you? Dr. Rashad Ritchie's here to talk about that and much more next.
But I can get one.
What's up, Dr. Rashad Ritchie? It's Karen Greer. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear what you hear.
Oh, it doesn't look like he has an earpiece. Dr. Rashad, do you have your earpiece?
Yeah, I got it now.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now.
It's Karen
Is there
Greer.
a delay?
Hey.
Hey, Karen.
You have a hidden earpiece.
There's a delay.
You got a delay?
Yeah, it's in there.
How bad's the delay? How can I see? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, good. It looked like he was outside.
Well, despite the fact the coronavirus continues to cripple the economy with uncertainty, stocks were actually up today by more than 6%. That is some welcome news, and that marks the first three-day rally in 6 weeks for the markets. The Dow finished up over 1,300 points. The Nasdaq gained 413 points, and the S&P 500 now up 17% for the week.
Well, time now to dig a little deeper into the economy and politics for you. And for that, we, of course, turn to our CBS 46 political analyst, Dr. Rashad Ritchie. And since we are practicing social distancing, he's joining us live from outside the studios. It's not my perfume. It is, we're doing social distancing. Great to see you, Dr. Ritchie.
Always great to see you, Karen. And yes, social distancing is the name of the game.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, what will be different for Georgia voters in the upcoming primary elections in May?
Well, a whole lot. So now you have something called massive absentee voting applications going out to 6.9 million Georgians. Okay, so let's break down what that actually means, Karen. Right now, if you are a registered and active voter, you will receive a piece of mail. That is your absentee application. That application is not your absentee ballot. You will have to then apply to receive an absentee ballot, and then you can vote in the upcoming May primaries. That is your Democratic primary and your Republican primary. So keep in mind, there is still some confusion, especially with college students. With all of the colleges basically being vacated right now, the absentee ballot applications will go to those dorms. Well, there are no students there. And there's no actual plan to figure out how these students will receive that application.
Wow. Now, will voters still be able to vote in person at all?
As the rule stands right now, Karen, they will be able to vote in person as well. That is an option. But I'm predicting that the precincts will actually decrease. You won't have as many options as you used to. So while, yes, the option will remain in place, there will not be as many likely.
Wow, glad I early voted. Now, how about Georgians and the stimulus bill that passed the Senate? Who would get what?
Money, 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 money is coming to Georgia, and this money will not get here until probably May. But here's how it works out so far in the stimulus bill. $1,200 for individuals, $2,400 for couples, and $500 per child. Now, only 10% of people will not get a stimulus package because it phases out after $99,000 worth of gross income, and it is also based on your 2019 filing. If you did not file in 2019, it will be based on your 2018 income, and that's the rollout.
Wow. Okay, a lot of great information there. Dr. Rashad Ritchie, as always, thank you so much. Have a good one.
And right now, we want to take you to Washington. The president speaking now with his task force for his daily briefing. Let's listen in.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan, congratulations to Japan on making a great decision on the Olympics. Going to make it next year, 2021. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico, I want to thank the President of Mexico for having done such a great job with respect to the military. We have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border, and very few people are getting through, I can tell you that. We got to keep it that way. And we have a great relationship with Mexico now. President Putin of Russia, King Salman of Saudi Arabia, President Ramaphosa of South Africa, President Moon of, as you know, a country that we spend a lot of time in, South Korea. We're working very hard on that. Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, President Erdogan of Turkey, Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Council, Charles Michel, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, World Health Organization Director Tedros Adhanom, World Bank President David Malpass, and the International Monetary Fund Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva. So that's a big group, but it's a great group. It's and they were all there, every one of them, and we talked about the problem, and hopefully it won't be a problem for too much longer. The United States is working with our friends and partners around the world to stop the spread of the virus and coordinate our efforts. We discussed how vitally important it is for all of our nations to immediately share information and data, and we've been doing that to a large extent, but we'll do it even more so, and to inform our, I guess you could say, form each of us on the fight that we've got going one way or the other. It's a little bit different, but we're handling it a little bit in different ways. But there is great uniformity, I think. It was a terrific meeting, tremendous spirit among all of those countries. You had 20 countries plus the other people that I mentioned, and tremendous spirit to get this over with. After the meeting with the world leaders, I spoke with the governors of our 50 states and territories. Our team has been in constant communication with the governors, and we had a terrific meeting. Somebody in the fake news said that one of the governors said, "Oh, we need Tom Brady." I said, "Yeah." He meant that in a positive way. He said, "We need Tom Brady. We're going to do great." And he meant it very positively, but they took it differently. They think Tom Brady should be leading the effort. That's only fake news, and I like Tom Brady. Spoke to him the other day. He's a great guy. But I wish the news could be real. I wish it could be honest. I wish it weren't corrupt. But so much of it is. It's so sad to see. Just so sad to see. We had a great meeting. I tell you what, I'm sure you have tapes of the meeting. I'm sure that you were able to get tapes very easily. So you had 50 governors plus. And if you had tapes, you'd see it was really, there's no contention. I would say virtually none. I would say maybe one person, there was a little tiny bit of a raising of a voice, a little wise guy, a little bit. But he's usually a big wise guy, not so much anymore. We saw to it that he wouldn't be so much anymore. But he is, I would rate, Mike was there, a lot of the folks in the back were there. And it was a great meeting. Took place at about 12 o'clock. So we went from the G20 to the governors. We also spoke about the economic relief with the governors and the package that we're moving through Congress to deliver much needed financial assistance to hardworking families and small businesses. I want to thank Democrats and Republicans in the Senate for unanimously passing the largest financial relief package in American history, 96-0, and I have to say it's the largest by far. And I'm profoundly grateful that both parties came together to provide relief for American workers and families in this hour of need. The House of Representatives must now pass this bill, hopefully without delay. I think it's got tremendous support. When you're at 96-0, and as you know, a couple of those people are quarantined, and one, Rand Paul, he's actually got it. But he'll be better. He's been a great guy. He's been a great friend of mine, actually. The massive $2.2 trillion relief package includes job retention loans for small businesses with loan forgiveness available for businesses that keep their workers on the payroll. It's pretty good. Loan forgiveness. Keep the workers on the payroll. It's pretty good. Direct cash payments will be available to American citizens earning less than $99,000 per year, $3,400 for the typical family of four. Expanded unemployment benefits. The average worker who has lost his or her job will receive 100% of their salary for up to 4 full months. These are things that, by the way, we have plenty more to go, but they're things that nobody's ever had any package like this done. And I just want to thank them. Hopefully it'll get approved equally easily in the House, really. I think it will go through pretty well from what I hear. Virtually everybody. There could be one vote, one grandstander maybe. You might have one grandstander. And for that, we'll have to come back and take a little more time, and it'll pass. It'll just take a little longer. But let's see whether or not we have a grandstander. critical support for the hardest hit industries with a ban on corporate stock buybacks and tough new safeguards to prevent executive compensation abuse. Over $100 billion for our amazing doctors, nurses, and hospitals. $45 billion for the Disaster Relief Fund, more than doubling the amount available. This is tremendous stuff. $27 billion for the coronavirus response, including $16 billion to build up the strategic national stockpile with critical supplies, including masks, respirators, and all sorts of pharmaceuticals. $3.5 billion to expand assistance to child care providers and child care benefits to healthcare workers, first responders, and others on the front lines of the crisis. And these are really brave, incredible people, I have to say. And some of them are getting sick, and some of them are getting very sick, and some of them don't even recover. They're incredible people. $1 billion for Defense Production Act procurement. We are, as you know, using the act, but we use it only when necessary. We use it as leverage. We generally don't have to use it to accomplish what we want to accomplish. As of today, FEMA has shipped over 9 million N95 masks, 20 million face masks, 3.1 million face shields, nearly 6,000 ventilators, 2.6 million gowns, 14.6 million gloves, and we're sending more every day, and we've got tremendous amounts of equipment coming in. A lot of great companies are making equipment right now. The ventilators, obviously, they take a little longer to make, but we have a lot of companies making them, and we're going to be in great shape. We took over an empty shelf. We took over a very depleted place in a lot of ways. As you know, the testing is going very, very well, and that was obsolete and broken, and we fixed it, and it's been going really good. And I think, very importantly, the stockpile, we're really filling it up, and we fill it up rapidly, but we get it out. Sometimes we have it sent directly to the states instead. And again, the state has to be doing this kind of a thing also. We're sort of we look from behind a little bit, and we look at how are they doing, and if they need help, we do it. But it's their first responsibility. Sometimes they just can't get it. But we load it up and we send it out. But if we can, we have it sent directly to the state. We want it to go directly to the point where we want it. I can now announce something that I think is incredible, what they've done in the Navy, because the incredible naval hospital ship, the USNS Comfort, which is incredible, actually, when you see it inside, will be underway to New York City on Saturday. So it's going to be leaving on Saturday rather than 3 weeks from now. They did the maintenance quickly, and it was going to be there for quite a while longer, another 3 or 4 weeks, and it should be arriving. I told the governor 20 minutes ago, Governor Cuomo, that the ship will be arriving at New York Harbor on Monday. I think I'm going to go out and I'll kiss it goodbye. I'll go to, it's in Virginia, as you know, and I will go and we'll be waving together because I suspect the media will be following. John, are you going to be following? Maybe. You never know, huh?
It's a very important vessel.
Great ship. It's a great vessel, is right. So if you want to go, I'll see you there, and if you don't, that's okay. After being fully loaded with medical supplies, it's loaded up to the top, and it's over at the Norfolk Naval Base. That's where it departs. It is expected then to, we're saving about 3 to 4 weeks by the incredible work done by the Navy, and I actually look forward to Saturday to see it go. The ship will arrive, and I believe it's going to get a little bit of a ceremony. There's something very beautiful about it. It's an incredible piece of work. Going to be landing at Pier 90 in Manhattan to provide hospital surge capacity for the New York metropolitan area. So it's a surge capacity. They may use it for this, or they may have other people coming in from hospitals unrelated to the virus, and then they'll use those hospitals on land. They'll use those hospitals for the virus, but we'll see how they do it. They could do it either way, one way or the other, whichever one is best. but it could be because it's set up so well for a regular hospital that they may take people out of hospitals and then use those rooms for the virus. The National Institute of Health and the private sector, working closely with the FDA, continue to collaborate to discover and test treatments and therapies that can effectively reduce the duration and symptoms of the virus and very much help people to recover. And I'm firmly committed to bringing these treatments to market very quickly. We have a lot of
and that is President Trump and his coronavirus task force, his daily briefings in the White House briefing room. We're going to continue to monitor the president and bring you new information as soon as we get it. But we're going to continue on with our show right now. Now at 5:30, many of you are focused on cleaning your homes and businesses to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. And basic cleaning is fine, but pre-treatment, well, it may be unnecessary and a big expense. Our Adam Murphy has that story.
I spoke with a couple of biohazardous experts who said a deep cleaning of your home or office for coronavirus is a good idea, but only under one condition. For more than 20 years, Gordy Powell with Georgia Clean has been disinfecting infectious diseases found inside homes, businesses, and public places.
Once it's been cleaned, disinfected, sanitized, and everything, it's only as good until the next person walks in and sneezes and reinfects the environment.
Powell has been certified to treat the novel coronavirus and said he has been inundated with requests for service.
It's been 99% of the time talking people off the edge of the cliff.
Most of the service calls are from people requesting a pre-treatment for COVID-19, something he said is unnecessary unless there has been an exposure to a confirmed case of the virus.
It seems like about 2 weeks ago, we got a new onslaught of professional COVID-19 decontamination companies that weren't there a month ago.
Now, some companies are claiming to be coronavirus experts and charging thousands of dollars to pre-clean.
What I'm seeing going on is a rush to just clean things.
Mark Cornelius is an emergency mitigation instructor who said pre-cleaning is, for the most part, a waste of money.
You can come in and clean all you want. The moment you walk out and go to the grocery store, touch the shopping cart, pick up a box or whatever, you're going to come back in and cross-contaminate the structure that was just clean.
If you do have a confirmed case of coronavirus at your home or the office and you want to disinfect, make sure the company you hire has a history of infectious disease management and the documentation to back it up. In Atlanta, Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
Adam, thank you. 3 Augusta University students stranded in Peru because of the coronavirus outbreak are back in Atlanta today. The State Department tweeted Wednesday that it had received permission to fly the students back to the U.S. President Trump has commented on the situation several times as officials tried to get the students home after flights were canceled out of that country back on March 17th. The students were on a medical study abroad program. They say they are happy to be back. Karen?
All right, around the world, there are over 500,000 people who have actually tested positive for the coronavirus. In France, healthcare workers have begun to evacuate some of those infected on board a high-speed train. The medical train is being used to relieve the strain on one of the hardest hit regions. There, 1,300 people have died. Over 25,000 have been infected. Well, health leaders in the world's foremost industrialized nations convening via virtual meeting to discuss the global coronavirus pandemic. Photos from that session showing leaders all beaming into the session from their offices or homes. President Trump participating from the White House Situation Room. And the Iranian army opening a 2,000-bed temporary hospital in Tehran. They're also planning to set up more if the epidemic gets worse. There, over 27,000 people have contracted the virus and over 2,000 have died. And a German baker has drummed up some much needed demand during the coronavirus crisis by making cakes in the shape of toilet rolls. Now, they make about 200 of these a day. Can't keep up with the demand. Local grocers say sales of the toilet rolls rose 700% over the past month.
I think that's both genius and gross at the same time. Well, some good news for passengers of the Grand Princess. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reports that all have left Dobbins Air Reserve Base and Clay National Guard Center. Hundreds arrived in Georgia within the past few weeks. They are all now home or undergoing treatment if they have tested positive for the coronavirus. Meantime, one Costa cruise ship has now docked at the port of Miami. Another is on the way. Both are reporting sick people on board. Meantime, a third cruise ship with at least 77 people showing symptoms is also heading to Florida. The ships were in the middle of trips when the industry announced it would halt operations in response to the pandemic. Well, of course, classrooms are virtual and extracurricular activities are also on pause during this health crisis, but there are a few exceptions. CBS 46's Brittany Edney shows us how hundreds of Cobb County students are still creating art together, even when they're far apart.
It's students working together side by side to create an unforgettable performance. The catch? The music is recorded solo.
Empty sidewalks, quiet streets, and closed stores make Cobb County feel a bit abandoned. Some teens, like Ashley Huff, are filling the isolated days at home with music practice.
It kind of gives me something to do all the time, too, especially right now.
She's been playing the flute for 5 years, finding her own tribe amongst fellow musicians.
It was always a highlight of my day to see the people in band, so it kind of staying inside, not being able to see them is kind of like, ugh.
So Cobb County Schools tried something different. Think Brady Bunch with woodwinds, brass, and percussion multiplied by a few hundred students.
They're always there for me. I can talk to them whenever I want, and it's overall just a fun experience when it comes to them.
Each student recorded themselves playing Shimmering Joy from Atlanta composer Tyler Grant. Then it was all edited together.
Where are we in the video? And we spent the whole video just looking for us and everyone else in the band.
Okay, it's a bit like a Where's Waldo search.
And we were like, oh, there we are.
And despite social distancing, a beautiful performance happened virtually.
I hope y'all are practicing because it's still important even if we're not in school. And I hope to see y'all again.
Showing how a band can create together while far apart because the music always plays on. Brittany Edney, CBS 46 News.
Still to come, guys, Todd Gurley is giving us all the feels just like those students did. He's coming back to Georgia where he made a name for himself, and he tweeted out a video that'll get you hyped to see him in a Falcons jersey. Okay, so it was just last week when Georgia great Todd Gurley was released by the Rams. He wasn't without a team for long, guys. The Falcons signed him the very next day. Gurley made a name for himself at Georgia. UGA is known as RBU. You know, if you take a look at the list of Georgia players with the most career rushing yards, well, he's number 4. Only behind Herschel Walker, Nick Chubb, and Sony Michel. Good company, right? It could be a while before we see Gurley in a Falcons jersey because of the coronavirus, but he tweeted out a video that'll get you hyped to see him play in one.
Just came here to tell y'all where I'll be taking my talents to next year, and that'll be the University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Baby, 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 I'm coming home to your tender, sweet loving. You're my one and only one.
I'm a proud Georgia fan, just like all the other fans out here. So I'm excited as everybody else.
Todd Gurley is coming home. So at the end there, you got to see a quick glimpse of what he'll look like in a Falcons uni. Like I said, though, it could be a while before we witness it since OTAs have been delayed indefinitely and off-season programs have been put on hold because of the coronavirus. We do know this, though. The league is trying to put together a virtual draft for this year's NFL draft in less than a month. So top prospects, well, they would join the broadcast virtually. The show must go on, right, guys?
Oh, man, you gave it.
Now, CBS 46 Pinpoint Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast.
Oh, and it's been a beautiful day today, and it still is, and it's going to get even better, especially if you like the warmer temperatures. Here's a live look of Lake Lanier. We've got crystal blue skies. If you look up at the sky, few high-thin cirrus clouds. Those are fair weather clouds, and they tell us it's going to be all right. Right now, temperatures in the upper 70s, 79 degrees outside right now in Atlanta. Because of the dry weather, the sunny weather, the lack of rain, the pollen level is sky high. These are the highest pollen levels we've had since March of 2019. So if you haven't sniffled this bad in a while, blame it on the pollen. 3,697. What we need to clear the pollen, rain, and we just don't have any. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be dry. We do see some rain on Sunday, but at this point looks like we'll see 1/10 of an inch of rain or less. So it's really not going to be enough to clear out the pollen. So even with that rain coming in Sunday, it may temporarily help, but no huge fixes to this problem we're in. And especially tomorrow and Saturday, I am forecasting that extreme pollen to continue. For tonight, gorgeous night. Not as cool as it was yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit cooler. We were in the 50s. Instead, we're only dropping to the 60s with a low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, we're going to warm up big time. I am forecasting record-breaking heat. And not only record-breaking by a little, I'm talking about temperatures 20 degrees above average for this time of year. 87 in Atlanta, 87 in Athens, 88 in LaGrange. The average high is 68, so that is way above where we should be. And it continues tomorrow, or Saturday, I should say, 83 on Saturday. We do get a little more comfortable Sunday, Monday, but we're not going to see below average temperatures until Wednesday of next week. So when you look at the weekend, Saturday, unusually hot. There's that rain moving in Sunday. It will lower temperatures a bit, but we'll still be in those mid 70s. It's not until next week that we see highs in the 60s, which is where we are supposed to be. The average high this time of year is 68 degrees. We're nowhere near that. And tomorrow, I do expect that record to be broken, possibly on Saturday as well. So if you're looking for something to do, because we're all quarantining and social distancing, it's time to put away the winter gear, get out the summer gear, bring it on, because it's going to feel like summer starting tomorrow.
Across Hollywood, TV and movie sets like this one have been shut down because of the coronavirus. I'm Chris Martinez with the effect the outbreak is having on the entertainment industry.
Welcome back. The coronavirus pandemic is having a devastating effect on the entertainment industry.
Most projects have been shut down, putting actors, production workers, and even writers out of work. Chris Martinez takes a look at the toll the outbreak is actually taking on Hollywood.
Like many in Hollywood, Steve Rizzo now faces an uncertain future.
It happened very quickly.
Things were a little bit different back then.
The actor and stuntman was working on a production in Texas that was abruptly shut down because of coronavirus concerns. While he says a hiatus of a few weeks is manageable, he worries the lack of work could become long-term.
If it goes into like 3 and 4 months, then it's going to be a problem because there's not going to be any income from anything.
The coronavirus pandemic is having a crippling effect on the entertainment industry. Movie theaters have shut their doors, Broadway has gone dark, and major studios have stopped their productions. A number of highly anticipated movies have also been delayed.
How many others are there?
Including Marvel Studios' Black Widow, Disney's Mulan, and the latest in the Fast and Furious franchise, all expected to be among this year's biggest moneymakers.
It's dizzying because you can't quite get your arms around the scope of it.
Variety magazine's Cynthia Littleton estimates the industry could take a financial hit in the tens of billions of dollars. She says the avalanche of delays and cancellations is devastating Hollywood's traditional calendar and will likely be felt for years.
There is going to be such a rescheduling nightmare for not only for getting movies and TV shows that have been postponed, but also getting work sorted out on future projects.
Steve now fills his unexpected free time building sets for a community theater musical, a production that's also been delayed.
We had to move the entire show 2 months forward into July, from May to July. So it's trickling down to everything.
He hopes Hollywood will ultimately have a happy ending. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Santa Clarita, California.
Now on CBS 46 News at 6.
I have kids to feed, and this virus is going around, so how are we supposed to take care of our kids?
The coronavirus crisis, hundreds of Metro Atlanta restaurant workers tell us they do not have a job and they're missing their full paychecks. We talked to management.
Substantially increasing the number of calls to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
There's been a 12% spike in the number of calls to the VA Suicide Prevention Hotline. Coming up, I have details on how the coronavirus quarantine is impacting veterans and the nonprofit trying to help.
One of Georgia's latest coronavirus-related deaths, a popular coach and teacher at a school in Sandy Springs, how the community is remembering him.
Georgia's confirmed coronavirus cases grow by almost 300. Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Greer in for Rick Folbaum.
And I'm Sean Gables. I'm practicing social distancing, Karen, from my home. But let's get straight to those headlines. Georgia now has more than 1,500 confirmed coronavirus cases. That's 278 more than this time yesterday. The State Department of Public Health says the virus is also responsible for 48 deaths. And Governor Brian Kemp announcing today all state public schools will be closed until at least April 24th. The order gives K through 12 schools the power to reopen on April 27th. The governor could extend the closure if the pandemic worsens. Public colleges, which have already moved to online learning, will remain closed until the end of the school year. Atlanta Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Maria Kostarfin hosted a virtual town hall this afternoon at APS headquarters in downtown Atlanta. She covered various topics, including the district's free food program. Dr. Kostarfin also said schools will be clean whenever classes resume. APS is cleaning and disinfecting schools according to regulations from the Centers for Disease Control.
Well, the city of Atlanta has a new tool to update citizens on its fight against the coronavirus. The city setting up atlstrong.org. Now, the website also allows people to sign up for coronavirus text alerts and request information about emergency fund assistance relief.
It will pass. It will pass with a strong bipartisan support.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaking on the bill her colleagues received today from the Senate. Late Wednesday night, senators passed more than $2 trillion coronavirus measure. And the 880-page legislation is the largest economic relief bill in U.S. history. The House is expected to vote and pass the bill by Friday. President Trump has already said he will sign the measure once it reaches his desk. And take a look, Wall Street reacting positively to the economic news from Washington. The Dow Jones Industrial, along with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, finishing the day in the green. This is the third straight day we've seen gains on the Dow.
The good economic news comes as record high numbers of Americans are applying for unemployment benefits. More than 3 million people filed for unemployment benefits last week. During that same time frame, Georgia processed more than 12,000 unemployment claims. The State Department of Labor anticipates higher numbers as the pandemic continues. But in the meantime, CBS 46's Haley Mason spoke with people in Metro Atlanta looking for money they're owed by a local restaurant group.
I've talked to Atlanta restaurant workers who are nearly in tears over paychecks they don't know when they'll receive. I've also talked to the owners who say with the pandemic, they are completely out of money.
On Tuesday evening, we were informed that we would not be getting our paychecks.
CBS 46 showed up to Metrotainment Bakery last week to find several employees waiting for overdue paychecks.
Right now, most of us have no money in our account and we can't even go to the grocery store.
The checks were overdue from February from the parent company Metrotainment Cafes. Managers received this email from company owners Jeff and Amy Landau informing them that the company has had a hard season and has now lost more than 90% of their business because of the coronavirus shutdown. They explained paychecks would be late. Metrotainment Cafes operates all local Hudson Grill restaurants, Joe's on Juniper, Einstein's, Metrotainment Bakery, and Sugar Shack. They have more than 400 employees. Today, we met with another restaurant worker who didn't want to be identified and hopes that she may still keep her job.
My boss just pulled me to the side and said, hey, you're not going to receive your paycheck on Wednesday. They said that they didn't have the funds.
She says she finally got a check this week, but it's not even half of what she's owed. I called multiple employees and emailed management. Company owner Jeff Landau called me and said over the phone they've paid all minimum wage workers like bartenders and servers their full check. That's about half of their staff. The rest of the staff received 40% of their salaries. The story is sad, but not unique. I reached out to the state labor department, and there is help for people looking for work right now. It's on the website employgeorgia.com. You'll find more than 100,000 job postings. More than 2,000 were added just last week. The owner of Metrotainment Cafe tells me that right now their bank accounts are completely empty. They say they'll pay the employees in full when they can. They have filed for state unemployment benefits for all of their staff. They've also applied for emergency loans. Reporting in Atlanta, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Haley. Gwinnett County expanding its coronavirus testing options. Sugar Hill Church on Nelson Brogdon Boulevard is now a drive-through testing site. People need to pre-qualify before they're able to be tested. Once tested, results should be back, we're told, in about 24 hours. One Metro Atlanta family recently tested for the coronavirus is now desperate to get a loved one's results. The Francom family's 14-year-old son actually started showing some symptoms on March 9th. He had a fever of over 100 degrees, along with a cough and runny nose. Since then, he's been back and forth to the doctor's office and developed pneumonia. Doctors tested him for the flu, his mother insisting on a coronavirus test. Well, that was 7 days ago. Still no results.
At this point, it's a waiting game, and I hope it doesn't go on much longer because it's a week now, and I would like some answers, and I don't blame the doctors. I know that they're doing the best they can. I feel horrible for everybody in that system right now, but why is it that it's taking this long?
Well, we wanted to know too, so CBS 46 reached out to the lab to find out why and how long this is going to take to get these coronavirus tests processed. We've not heard back. Health officials say to continue to quarantine while you are awaiting your results. And health experts say the number of cases in Georgia, as well as the rest of the country and the world, will continue to rise dramatically as more tests are administered. But so far, testing people for the coronavirus remains a huge hurdle here in Georgia. Wednesday, I spoke exclusively with Governor Kemp about steps being taken to make sure everyone who needs a test gets a test.
Well, the good news is we're ramping up on testing. We have 23 sites around the state now open, our regional sites that I've talked about over the last several days. The lab's processing more testing results, so we've ramped it up on our end. But I think it's important for people to know as well, the more we test, the more positives we're going to have, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So our numbers are jumping, which I know is concerning when people see that. But I want them to know that is something we've been expecting. We know it's going to continue to go up.
Well, the governor has a statewide town hall airing in less than 2 hours right here on CBS 46. So we know you have questions as well. Send us your questions and we will make sure you get them. Just go to our CBS 46 Facebook page. Sean?
Karen, the medical sterilization plant in Cobb County blamed for emitting those cancer-causing toxic fumes in the air for decades could be cleared to reopen at any moment. We've learned Cobb County has signed an emergency order on Wednesday night allowing Sterigenics to temporarily sterilize items needed to combat coronavirus. Carolyn Ryan has the latest.
It all started with a letter from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on March 19th, the FDA asking Governor Kemp to reopen Sterigenics so the plant could sterilize much-needed personal protection items like masks, gowns, gloves, and respirators to fight coronavirus.
I know that the Secretary Azar needs that plant open. There's a lot of medical supplies that they need to move to the marketplace. And as he told me, this is a national public health emergency. We need that plant open.
Cobb County agrees, signing off on an emergency order allowing the plant to temporarily reopen for the sole purpose of sterilizing the items cited by the FDA. But with dozens of medical sterilization companies across the nation, why is the FDA zoning in on Sterigenics specifically? This location has been shut down since last summer because of discrepancies over its occupancy status. State Representative Eric Allen has concerns
that the Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration is not looking at Smyrna, Georgia that closely to say that this is the panacea to solving our crisis with the coronavirus.
Residents who live near the plant are already worried about COVID-19. Now they say they'll have to worry about breathing ethylene oxide, too.
It causes cancer in people and kills people. Now, it's not as quick as the coronavirus is, but it just doesn't make sense to trade one for another.
And already it appears Sterigenics is pushing back against Cobb County's conditions on reopening. In a statement, the company argues they should be allowed to sterilize many of the same medical devices they did prior to coronavirus. The full statement is posted on our website. Carolyn Ryan, CBS 46 News.
Get a little happier at the end of the day, talking to your friends, which I think has been the most important part.
Well, millions of Americans under self-quarantine are burning through bandwidth, virtually reaching out to loved ones. Virtual socializing is allowing people to maintain friendships with loved ones, and in some cases, it's even allowing couples to get married while loved ones are watching. Well, the added stress of the isolation caused by the coronavirus pandemic is starting to be felt among veterans who are already dealing with PTSD and other issues. Our Beth Yates is actually speaking with Veterans Affairs officials on how they're prepared to help vets get through this very tough time.
The increased isolation due to the coronavirus quarantine also means an increase in the risk factors for those impacted by mental health illnesses.
There has been a substantial increase in the number of calls to Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
John Warden with LifeAid says recent information released by the VA shows a 12% spike in calls for help.
The whole quarantine situation really, it's needed, but it obviously doesn't work well with people who are dealing with the impact of isolation.
The issue prompted the nonprofit to launch an initiative using cutting-edge technology, brain imaging, as well as virtual chat rooms for events, including everything from yoga and bike riding sessions to group discussions. And veteran Theodore Vanover is among those benefiting from the program.
I feel amazing. This has been a game changer for me for sure.
Vanover says prior to connecting with LifeAid, he was struggling in many ways.
It helps with the PTSD, the anxiety, the depression, and just them reaching out to me to push me to get me to go where I need to go, because I was kind of in a low spot there for a little bit, didn't want to talk to anybody. It's kind of brought me out of my shell now, and it's really great to have that.
To find out how you can participate, you can go to the CBS 46 News app. Fighting for our vets, Beth Yates, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Beth. Reach out to CBS 46 if you are a veteran who needs our help. The email address, once again, fightingforourvets@cbs46.com.
It kind of gives me something to do all the time, too, especially right now.
Still ahead, one band, one sound, how a Metro Atlanta school district getting more than 500 musicians together for a once-in-a-lifetime virtual performance.
And coming up tonight at 11, a grocery store disinfecting shelves and forced to toss out $35,000 worth of food. The twisted prank from a customer that may end with her facing criminal charges.
Fighting for our vets, sponsored by Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Buy it today, get it today. Thanks for making CBS 46 the fastest growing news in Atlanta.
Stranded Augusta University students are finally back home. CBS 46 was at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport this afternoon as they landed from Miami. We first told you about the students last Friday. They were stuck in Peru after the country closed its borders due to the coronavirus. All cruise ship passengers sent to Dobbins Air Reserve Base in Cobb County for coronavirus testing and quarantine are now gone. This is coming from the Department of Health and Human Services. Nearly 500 people were flown to Georgia from California after the Grand Princess ship returned to the United States. The Floyd County Sheriff's Office working with local pharmacies to deliver much needed medication. If a citizen is either 65 years of age or older, or if they're disabled, they may contact their pharmacy for delivery like they normally would. If the pharmacy needs help with the delivery, they will reach out to the Sheriff's Office to get the medication delivered in a timely manner. Deputies will be wearing masks and gloves to protect themselves and others from possibly spreading the coronavirus. I absolutely love this story, Karen. Local high school musicians are doing their part to uplift all the people who are stuck at home during this pandemic.
The young people are so bright with this. The Cobb County School District forming a more than 500-person virtual band. These musicians are from all of Cobb County's 17 high schools. Look at this, recording themselves on YouTube playing Shimmering Joy by Atlanta composer Tyler Grant. The performances were then edited together so that the finished product you see here, one band, one sound. Amazing. Well, the United States now has more than 1,000 deaths due to the coronavirus. One of the latest deaths hit a Fulton County community very hard. Our Rebecca Schramm reports on Ron Hill, who was a popular coach and teacher at a private school in Sandy Springs.
Just as every school is closed because of the coronavirus pandemic, so is the Mount Vernon School in Sandy Springs. But the situation has hit especially hard for the Mount Vernon community. One of their own, teacher and coach Ron Hill, lost his battle with the virus. He was 63 years old. Flags are flying at half-staff to honor the Army veteran, father and grandfather who over the years coached football, track, and girls basketball. Family members say he first became ill March 12th and thought it was his asthma acting up. Days later, he was admitted to the hospital and kept in isolation. He was diagnosed with pneumonia before finally getting a positive test result for COVID-19. His loved ones had to say their goodbyes Tuesday through a glass door. In a statement, school leaders said Coach Hill cared deeply for Mount Vernon students and his colleagues, always empathizing with them, yet challenging them to be better. On an online memorial wall, one woman wrote Coach Hill was a light on a hill, literally, so his name was befitting. One of his athletes wrote, I remember every middle school track practice where Coach Hill would run us till we were exhausted. What I would give to be exhausted on the track with him again. And another wrote, Heaven sure did gain a heck of an angel today. Rest easy, Coach. You will never be forgotten by your Mustangs. In Sandy Springs, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
And it was a beautiful day today, lots of sunshine, high heat, but that pollen was insane. Pollen levels today, 3,697, which in and of itself, you think, what does that even mean? Well, that is extreme pollen, and that is a lot of pollen. That is the most pollen we've seen since March 13th of 2019. So it goes to show how high those pollen levels are. Now, what you need to get rid of that pollen is some rain. The rain cleans the air, cleans the surfaces, and we just don't have much in the forecast. Tomorrow's dry, Saturday's dry, slight chance of rain on Sunday. We will see about a 40% chance of rain, but it's going to be very light rain, mainly sprinkles. So it's not going to do a ton to help with the pollen, but at least it will bring some relief. As far as the next 2 days, those are the worst. I do expect the pollen level tomorrow to be even higher than today, and today's already very, very high. And then on Saturday, more of the same. We do get those pollen levels lowering a little bit by Sunday into Monday, but still remaining high. And it's just, 'tis the season here in Georgia, in North Georgia. This is the worst time of year for pollen, the end of March. Hour by hour forecast for tonight. We will see mostly clear skies, not as cool tonight as it was yesterday. Last night we got down to 52 degrees. We'll get down to 61 tonight, so it will be a little milder. And then tomorrow it just gets downright hot. This is the kind of day you want to bring out the water guns and the slip and slides and anything you can to entertain the kids outdoors with water. It will be hot. We're getting up to 87 degrees tomorrow afternoon. That's nearly 20 degrees above average. The average high is 68 degrees. And certainly that is record breaking. The record for tomorrow is 86 back in 1994, and I think we'll break that record. Could break another record on Saturday. I'm forecasting a high of 83. The record is 85 back in 1907, so close to record breaking on Saturday as well. By next week, we see lower temperatures. Even by Sunday, we see lower temperatures, although still above average. On Sunday, that's when we have that chance of rain. Here's a look at that cold front moving in. Not going to bring a bunch of showers, about 1/10 of an inch of rain or less as it moves on by, but at least it will bring some rain on Sunday, and that will help lower those temperatures just a little bit. We go from upper 80s to 70s, then we see the 60s eventually, but not until Wednesday and Thursday of next week. That's when a much stronger system moves in. That front on Tuesday, very different than the one we'll see on Sunday. That one will bring us at least an inch of rain, will bring us the potential of thunderstorms, possibly strong storms. That one's going to have a much bigger impact on our weather. As far as now, at least we have some rain on Sunday. That'll help for now, but just keep taking that allergy medicine, because I know with this gorgeous weather, you'll want to be outside, but there's yellow pollen on everything. Back to you.
Now CBS 46 Sports with Emily Gagnon.
Perfect weather for baseball, right? Today was supposed to be opening day for the Braves. They were slated to get started tonight in Arizona. The season has been pushed back at least 2 weeks because of the coronavirus. Former Braves owner Bill Bartholomew, who moved the team to Atlanta in 1966, passed away last night. Known as Mr. B to many in the organization, Bartholomew bought the Milwaukee Braves in 1962. How about that? 4 years later, he moved the franchise to Atlanta, making them the first major pro sports team in the entire Southeast. He sold the Braves to Ted Turner in 1976, but was still involved with the team until his death. Bartholomew was also inducted to the Braves Hall of Fame in 2002. Today, Hank Aaron tweeted Bartholomew was the greatest owner he ever played for. We're now a week into the NFL free agency period, and the Falcons have added some serious talent on both sides of the ball. The offense could be especially explosive this season. Over the weekend, the team signed wide receiver Laquan Treadwell from the Vikings. Minnesota drafted Treadwell in the first round out of Ole Miss in 2016. Think about this, guys. The Falcons could potentially start 11 first-round guys on offense. Treadwell says the chemistry is what matters most.
Talent is one thing, but bonding as a team and playing for each other is another. So I've been in this league long enough to know that everyone has talent. So it's going to come down to us, clicking and firing together and playing for each other. Get us over that hump and win a lot of games.
One event the coronavirus hasn't canceled, well, the WNBA draft. The league announced today the draft will continue as scheduled on April 17th. It'll still be on TV. They just won't have the prospects in person. By the way, the Dream have the 4th overall pick, and as we know, the NFL, well, they also will hold the NFL draft as expected at the end of April. So we have the NFL draft to look forward to and the WNBA draft.
You're watching CBS 46 News, getting results. You're watching CBS 46 News, getting results.
All right, here's a quick recap of tonight's coronavirus coverage for you before we turn things over to Nora O'Donnell and the CBS Evening News. The United States has more than 80,000 confirmed coronavirus cases. More than 1,100 people have died. At this hour, Georgia has more than 1,500 confirmed coronavirus cases. That's 278 more than this time yesterday. An updated count from the Department of Public Health is coming in about 30 minutes.
The Senate passes a more than $2 trillion coronavirus aid package.
How much time?
The measure includes a cash payment of up to $1,200 for most working Americans and $500 per child. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the measure will pass tomorrow with strong bipartisan support.
And we have a beautiful night ahead, but a warmer night. Instead of lows in the 50s, they'll be in the 60s. And then tomorrow is downright hot, record-breaking heat in the forecast. We are warming up to the upper 80s. That's nearly 20 degrees above average. So get the sunglasses, the sunscreen, and the shorts. It's going to be hot.
Heat wave
And
out
at 8
there.
o'clock, make sure you join us. Yeah, at 8 o'clock, make sure you join us for the statewide town hall meeting with Governor Brian Kemp. We will be covering that and have an update on Peachtree TV at 9 and also on CBS 46 News at 11.
Have a good night, everybody. Oh.